Hello, welcome back. It's Greg with Artist Cycling. Thank you all for the comments I got on the previous two paintings. I do appreciate it. Today we're going to play around in the garden again. You can see that I'd rather paint than weed, but we're going to work with this Stella Dora and translate onto this page. The last piece I did, the paper was just a little too long of a rectangle for me. So I thought I'd change it up a little bit. Sorry, I should have put my gloves on this before I started painting. There is nothing toxic with the oil sticks, but and I use the Shiva oil sticks. They're not intended for children under 12. Huh. They call it self-sealing. Used to say on here non-toxic. Maybe they're toxic now. But yeah, I can imagine a 5-year-old. Well, even at 12, I've had some middle school kids decide to dye their hair with them. Felt like I had to send a note home to the parent going, I did not suggest they do this and good luck getting it out. So, but I wear the gloves because I fund my art making. And actually, of course, I sell work. And you can find all of my work for sale on my website. But I fund my artwork by bartending, and sometimes that becomes source material as well. In fact, the last exhibition I did was called Behind Bars. So I like to keep my hands cleaner than if I wasn't bartending. This one's going to be an interesting, simple painting. So just laying in the basic composition, and then I will, again, like in the previous video, switch over to time-lapse and voiceover, because I really like the way that worked out. Let me know if that helped you all, if that was more informative to do them that way than it is to try to chat with you as I work in real time. Huh. Just realized I'm starting a British flag, so I want to make sure that doesn't come through. Oh, I mean, would that be so terrible if it did? So that's the basic compositional outline that I want to do. And I'm kind of just looking at this again, looking at color. So there's a lot of oranges, but if you look closely, there's a lot of greens in that yellow. So I think that's going to be my real challenge. We'll see. So okay, I'm going to go ahead and switch to the time lapse, and we'll go on from there. So now, of course, we start working in the flower, sort of creating things as we go. And I want these warm and cool yellows. There's just a hint of yellow-green, so I'll lay in that and then bounce between the two with the orange, working the yellow into it. And of course, I'm mixing white as I go. And I do go so far as to have 2 separate whites as well. And as I start to get a little confused, I lay in some of the foliage behind. These little hints of red will help balance that green, so I'm looking for complementary colors. But I'm looking for little, what Wayne Thiebaud called zips. But now I'll go back into the flowers, start developing them more, and getting a little frustrated here with the amount of green. I think there was too much on one of the oil sticks. And then you end up with these little, you can see the strokes of the green that kind of frustrate me as well. But that's what drying time is for. So laying in the last of the 3 petals. And the Stella Doras are made of 2 sets of 3 petals. And the petals themselves are radically different shaped as well. But that's part of that observation. I had never really noticed that before. It's one of the great things about painting. Painting teaches you to see. Unfortunately, it didn't go the other way around. So, of course, I've decided that there's sort of a bluish-yellow background, bluish-purple, excuse me, and that will sort of balance the yellowish-green. Don't ask me why the blue works with that. The blue is actually the complement to the orange. So I did a little bit of, in the lower right-hand corner, sort of recompose one more time, adding this extra leaf right there, but dark, so things drop away. Now it's the next day, and I'm able to come back in and actually work over some of those areas I was frustrated with. So now I feel a little bit better about the surface and the texture of those colors. And you don't see the green is softened a good bit. And also giving a little more opacity to the green leaves as well. And so now we'll come in close, and you can really see how this is much more, the green areas are much more opaque. You can see just little hints of this red and orange. And of course, always I love the texture of this media. The stamens have little red tips. That's one more chance to work the red into it. But you can see right here, see these little zips of red? And they sort of pop all along at the bordered edges, but they're not everywhere. And sometimes they got dragged through it, and that's fine as well. I also love the raw edge of the painting. Talked about it before, being the first 4 lines of your drawing are the edges of the paper. So I've never gone to the edge of the paper since. And you can just see, where there's little zips, and the little mistakes help. So here's the whole painting. So you can see, how it softens to the eye as you get further away. Of course, for me, the last thing to do is sign the painting. And one of the ways to keep people from matting the work to hide the raw edge is I sign it outside here. So if you frame it, you're not going to see the signature unless you leave the raw edge. And of course, the title is I Adore Stella. It's a fun little pun on Stella Doras. So thanks for taking the time. This will be up on my website soon, greigleach.com. I appreciate it, and tell me what you think of the